So, good morning. We'll be talking about lot number 52 in our upcoming auction April 10 and 11, Fine Chinese, Asian and Buddhist art here at Zacke in Vienna. And they just brought me this little box here with the contents of lot 52. And we can see there's 4 bronzes in here, 4 imperial bronzes. And the story for these is that the Emperor Qianlong decided to build a temple compound for his mother, and of course he used in the Forbidden City. And there were about 1,000 of these bronzes made only for that purpose, so they are quite unique. Yeah, 2/3 are still in place. Yeah, the temple is the BAO-XIANG within the Forbidden City. It's a compound of several buildings and several halls. And they have different names, and the interesting thing is that all these figures have inscriptions. They have a 7-character Qianlong imperial mark, of course, all of them the same. Then they have an inscription here, which basically says which figure it is, and then they have another inscription here on the backside, incised, which says where the figure is located, in which hall it is located. So, for example, there is the 4 figures are Vajrabhasa, Mahugeda, Gaudama, and Heguang, and they are located all from different areas in the compound, different halls in the compound. There is a massive book, I think it's 3 tomes. They have registered all pieces that are in this compound, all bronzes. And some of them only have their bases left, and several hundred are still intact and in place. And some, of course, when the Forbidden City was attacked several times in its history, made their way into various channels and eventually in the West. They are quite expensive. We'll come to that in a moment. The interesting thing of them is that the Emperor Qianlong supervised the production, the casting, the gilding, the incision work personally. And in the archives, in the imperial archives of the Forbidden City, there is a record of an event where the emperor got furious because he was disappointed of the casting quality and returned all the figures and made the workers pay themselves for the additional work they had to do in gilding and lacquering because the quality was not at the level of the imperial workshops. You can see that here. The gilding on all these 4 pieces is a very fine imperial lacquer gilding, which is extremely well preserved. It's missing like in 95%, even in the pieces that are still in the Forbidden City. And the reason for that is because it's very sensitive to weathering. Yeah? All of them have very minor touch-ups, some more recent, some early, some are even in yellow, not in a gold tone, with actually sacrificial or religious color. And some, like this one, are really extremely well preserved, where the lacquer has a beautiful shine. They are all very heavy. We have x-rayed them, and the x-rays are available. They show the magnificent casting quality, of course, because, I mean, it's an imperial cast at the end of the day. But they also show that, at least in 1 or 2 angles, you can see something that looks like these little sutra rolls they have in there, other things. So it's possible that there are contents. Of course, it's impossible to verify because we cannot open them. They are all 4 of them are originally sealed, as you can see. And they also are in very, very good condition. Generally, as I said, only little touch-ups to the gilt. And I think one of them has 1 attribute missing. You can see they're all different. 3 of them have these sashes here, 1 doesn't. Yeah, this one has the conch as attribute. Then you have these have the kalaja. The mudras are always different. This is Bhumispasha. This is different mudras, and also the incision work and the inscriptions, of course, vary. The provenance of these is they came from a noted Hong Kong collection, which has a good history. Then they came to Mandala Fine Arts, which has invoiced them to a collector in America. The original invoice is a copy of the original invoice is still here. We also had Dife from Mandala Art, who confirmed to us in writing that, yes, this went through him and this is his invoice. Then went to an American collector who passed away. It was sold again by Mandala, I think 1 or 2 decades later, went to another collector, and from there it came eventually to us. So provenance couldn't be any better. Another interesting aspect is that there is a publication from 1986, The Many Faces of Buddha, which was published in Atlanta by Oglethorpe, and it's the only one where you have also a set of 4 that has been preserved outside the Forbidden City. Yeah, it's the only reference group, and as you can see, they are quite similar. Yeah, and interestingly, here are 2 that have these sashes here, 1, 2, and then there's 2 that have none. In our set, 3 have it, yeah, and only 1 doesn't, yeah. So, but otherwise, it's pretty similar, yeah. So this set and this set here are the only 2 in the world outside the Forbidden City. When you compare these pieces here with auction results, you can see that this type here, generally speaking, is one of the more expensive. There's many different ones, but we see there was a very similar one, same size, 20 centimeters, which sold for 168,000 euros, just one in 2007. That's some time ago. Then there's one in 2021, which sold for 144,000 euros. It's this one here is also quite similar. And this one here is a typical example where the gilt has lost completely. That's, of course, not as valuable. It sold for 123,000 still in 2011. And then this is one where the figure is cast separately from the base. And it seems possibly that the base does not match the figure. So they're both from the same time, but they were mixed up. The base looks a little bit too large. That one still sold for 60,000 euros. We have 4 here, and we have no intention to split the set because it's been documented like that. There's 1 provenance, so they should remain together. They'll probably sell for more if they are split up, but I think it's still, we discussed with the vendor and we decided eventually to leave them together because we thought it's better since they have been documented this way. And our price is, our estimate is 40 to 80,000 for, not for one, for all the 4. So I think this is a tempting price, and if you want to bid, good luck. I'm sure there will be some interest, but here's your chance to acquire 4 important imperial figures, from which maybe 20 or 20, 30 maybe have been on the market, in the auction market, in the last 30 or 40 years. Yeah? So it's still very, very rare, and a set of 4 is absolutely unheard of. Good luck in bidding.